Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Nashtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy, text number 6 onwards. So Brahmaji is further praying, Tavad bhayam dravina deha surindrimittam shoka spriha paribhavo vipulascha lova tavan mameti asad avagraha artimulam yavanna te angri ma bhayam pravranita lokaha. O my Lord, the people of the world are embarrassed by all material anxieties. Oh, I think we did this yesterday. Sorry. Text 7. Devante hat dhiyo bhavata prasanga sarva shubho shamnad vimukhendriyaye kurvanti kam sukh lesha lavaya dina lova vibhuta manaso akushalani shashvat. O my Lord, persons who are bereft of all the auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in auspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. They engage in inauspicious activities. The next question is why people are against such auspicious activities as chanting and hearing the glories and pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the cares and anxieties of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate souls, and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. So here it is said that there are so many unfortunate men who do not have any inclination, any attraction for hearing and chanting about Krishna. But Lord Himself, He doesn't let them do anything. He let them just independent, do whatever you want. Like in Gita, He says to Arjuna also, Yathechasi tatha karo. But here, proper right. But the Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them into the line of devotion service. Very, very important. And this is why the devotees are very, very dear to Krishna, especially the preachers. Of course, everybody is a preacher. In devotion service, everybody is a preacher. Preaching doesn't mean just giving big, big lectures. We preach by our behavior, by our dealings with others. We preach by our service. If I do my service of cleaning the temple or cooking or dressing or whatever nicely, that's also preaching. Means that attracts one to Krishna and Krishna's or Prabhupada's movement, Krishna's temple, Prabhupada's movement. If it's something or anything attracts one towards this, that is preaching. So only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. So this is how our dealing with others should be. They should get so much attracted to Krishna consciousness that these devotees are so nice. How nice Srila Prabhupada himself must be, and how nice it would be when if I if I come and join this movement, or if I come um, and take part in kirtan or other devotional activities. That is preaching. That's all we have to do. That's all, nothing else. See, people like previous words, it is said, everybody's in anxiety, everybody's suffering out there in the material world. So when they are suffering so much, everybody is actually looking for an oasis, looking for a shelter where they can get peace, where they can get mental peace without a fear of getting exploited. Exploited for money, exploited for their power or position or anything else. And as representatives of movement of Srila Prabhupada, this is our utmost duty that we create such an atmosphere among ourselves, among our association, among in the temple, wherever we are serving, that we create that kind of atmosphere. That people look forward to coming and sitting and sitting down and talking with us, and ready to take some instructions. Of course, it's not recommended that in very first meeting we teach the whole Bhagavad Gita to a person who has come for the first time. So slowly, a person gets attracted to the philosophy. Very first thing he gets attracted to is the person. And then the second thing is prashadam. Deities, maybe. Or just a kirtan, just he would like to sit down and listen to kirtan. Philosophy, listening to philosophy comes much later. That's not even in the beginning. But we have to somehow attract that person towards Krishna. And we don't use force, just like some other religions do. We don't use money power because we have no money, just like other religions do. Our only weapon or only attractive force is Krishna, Krishna Prasad, Krishna Katha, and our dealing with others. That's all. And this is what really attracts people. When they themselves come, they want to come, they want to associate. So very important. Generally, people are not at all inclined, but somehow we have to bring them. The soul is naturally inclined to Krishna Katha and Krishna. The body is not. Because the mind has been so conditioned that it wants to go away from Krishna. He finds it very boring. But somehow we have to bring. And that's all. This is all preaching is. Next state. Shuttritridhatu bhirima muhuradyamana shitoshna vata varshar atitare tascha kamagniya chitrusha cha sudurbharena sampashyato manurukram sidite me. O great actor, my lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and am very much aggrieved for them. A pure devotee of the Lord like Brahma and persons in his disciplic succession are always unhappy to see the perplexities of the conditioned souls, who are suffering the onslaughts of threefold miseries which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbances of material nature, and to so many other such material disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes pose themselves as leaders of the people, and the unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages under such so called leadership. This is like a blind man leading another blind man to fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish, materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. So again, Brahma is saying people will be suffering. They are suffering. They will be suffering. So many, so many miseries. And they don't know how to get out of it. So unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. Actually, this is just like some once devotees asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how can we repay you? How can we repay the debt that we owe you for helping us get out of this material world, from this miseries of the material world? Prabhupada said the debt of the spiritual master can never be paid back. Only thing you can try to pay it back by giving this message to others. So we have a debt. We owe this towards Prabhupada for saving us. We were also rotting in the material world. We are still rotting. I'm not saying we were rotting. We are still rotting. But the only positive thing is that we have been given this holy name of the Lord, this Krishna Katha, this Krishna Seva, Krishna Puja. We've been introduced to that. We haven't been able to utilize it properly. That's a different story. Or like chanting, yeah, still not there where we can claim that we are chanting purely. But at least we have the tools. We have the right tools, right instructions. We have been exposed to them. And slowly, 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 we are making progress. The confirmation of that progress is for the last 2 years, we all are sitting down every day and discussing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Every day. Before these 2 years, what were we doing every morning? We were not discussing Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Every Saturday, Sunday, we discuss for 1 hour. And then we, on top of it, we are finding time to chant every day, despite a busy schedule. And I can guarantee you, 100%, first time when somebody asked you to chant, you all said we didn't have time. And now we are finding time for hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and chanting 16 rounds. And some devotees are chanting many more than 16 rounds. Where's the time coming from? It's the same 24 hours. Time did not expand. Why? Because we are getting some taste. Okay, even if we're not getting anything, I'm pretty sure we are getting taste, but even if we're not getting into at least just to make Radha Prabhu happy, everybody is chanting or coming to the classes. But that is still okay. That's also okay. That's his mercy and his loving and sweet dealing with all of you. You're still coming. So that's an indication that there is something better than just going to work and then doing some politics or or some gossiping and come back home and then take care of the family, watch TV, go to sleep and get up in the morning, cook and again go to work and do some gossiping and some work and come back, watch TV, eat and again sleep. There's something better than. So this is what Prabhupada has given us. And this is what we owe to him, that we will try to give this message to others, to bring others into Krishna consciousness. That's all our service to Prabhupada is. And we should do it diligently. Text 9. Yavat prithaklam idam atmanindriyartha maya balam bhagavato jan isha pashet tavanna samsriti raso prati sankrameta vyarthapi dukhni vaham bhati kriyartha. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. As long as the conditioned soul sees the body as means for sense enjoyment. The whole trouble of the living entity in material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in both the conditioned and liberated states. But by the influence of the external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. His constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the Supreme Will. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 255, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partham anugata. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. The living entity has to dovetail himself with the Supreme Will. That will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. So living entity, in the conditioned living entity, he thinks he is independent. He thinks there is nobody above me. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. But that's his foolishness. A devotee is completely dependent upon the Lord. He thinks, Lord sees everything and I'm dependent upon him. And Prabhupada said, like, his constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the Supreme Will. So if he doesn't do that, then he's sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. Like in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we are seeing that Krishna is saying, if you don't do what I say, you will continue with your material life. Just do what I say. Just surrender unto me. Just follow my instructions. And you will live with me in the spiritual world happily. If you don't, then you'll be here in the material world. Again, carry on with your birth, death, old age, and disease, and your plans and the super plans of I'll make money and I'll be happy, or I'll take over the world, and whatever plans we all make. Prabhupada says he has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. That's all we have to do. Text 10. Ahaniya pritartha karana nishayana nana manorathdhiya kshan bhagna nidraha devhartha rachana rishyapi deva yushmat prasanga vimukha iha sansaranti. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculation. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. So this is but Brahmaji is saying, and Brahmaji made the whole creation. He knows what goes on in his creation. That's why he has the four heads. What Brahmaji is saying, such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work. And they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. And this is one thing the devotees have no problem with actually sleeping. Whenever we don't fall asleep uh, or for whatever reason, just start chanting. Or pick up Bhagavad Gita, start reading any page. Guaranteed within 1 minute or two you'll fall asleep. Because it's not that it is boring. I'm not saying it's boring, that's why we fall asleep. It's whenever we read or chant, our mind gets very peaceful. And peaceful mind means sleep. First thing will be sleep. It's just when we get bliss by chanting and reading, then we will not sleep. Like 6 Goswamis, they would hardly sleep for half an hour or 1 hour every day. Because they were in the status of bliss. We are disturbed, and that's why we want peace. So when we chant or read Bhagavad Gita or any other Prabhupada's books, we'll fall asleep because we will be at peace. So as described in the previous verse, people who have no taste for the devotional service of the Lord are occupied in material engagements. Most of them engage during the daytime in hard physical labor. Their senses are engaged very extensively in troublesome duties in the gigantic plants of heavy industrial enterprise. The owners of such factories are engaged in finding a market for their industrial products, and the laborers are engaged in extensive production involving huge mechanical arrangements. Factory is another name for hell. At night, hellishly engaged persons take advantage of wine and women to satisfy their tired senses, but they're not even able to have sound sleep because their various mental speculative plans constantly interrupt their sleep. Because they suffer from insomnia, sometimes they feel sleepy in the morning for lack of sufficient rest. I think this goes on everywhere, all over the world. People are working so hard and there are so many plans. In fact, in our office also, I've seen people, they're even working over the weekends. Oh, I have to take care of this and I have to plan this and I have to do that. Especially our bosses, they even work over the weekends. They cannot take a rest, take a break. And forget about sleeping. Because now the board meeting is there and then now the targets are there and then the revenue is going down and the sale figures are not met and this and that. And if the year is coming to close, all nonsense. By the arrangement of supernatural power, even the great scientists and thinkers of the world suffer frustration of the various plans and thus rot in the material world, birth after birth. A great scientist may make discoveries in atomic energy for the quick destruction of the world and may be awarded the best prize in recognition of his service or disservice. But he also has to undergo the reactions of his work by rotating in the cycle of repeated births and deaths under the superhuman law of material nature. All these people who are against the principle of devotional service are destined to rotate in this material world without fail. Oh, it's a long purport, so I guess you have to read on your own. I'll just go towards the last part. A person in ignorance of the principles of religion, who therefore does nothing in the matter of religion, is far better than a person who misguides others in the name of religion without reference to the factual religious principles of devotion service. Of course, that's a verse that Prabhupada is quoting from Ishopanishad. So I'll go in detail on this whenever we start Ishopanishad. So, but the point is, materialistic people, they cannot be at peace. That's why they, the number one medicine in America that is sold is for stress. So much of stress people are under. And then because of stress, they get into depression. And because of stress, so many other ailments, other sicknesses, they come into being. And the stress is why? Because they cannot sleep. And they cannot sleep because they have so many plans. And so many plans are there. Why? Because it's all related to sense gratification. If not body, then the satisfaction of the mind. And they're just running. In the end, they get nothing except some diseases and lots of medicines, and then they die in the hospital. So what is the point of running around for so much of success and money and some power position? But this is what the people don't understand. Mahaprabhu, that's why he said, Cheto Darpanamarjanam, Bhav Mahan Davagani Nirvapanam. And then what? In the end, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, Pratipadam Purana Amrita Svadanam. And what? How? By Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By chanting of the holy names, this is the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, that all glories, Param Vijaya, all the victory be to it. It does what? Anand Ambudhi Vardhanam. It gives us Anand Ambudhi. Ambudhi means ocean. It gives us the ocean of bliss, and which is always increasing. Vardhanam. It's always increasing. This is what Mahaprabhu has given. And this is what Prabhupada has given. Prabhupada expanded on that. Not just chanting, read about Krishna. Taste Krishna Prasadam. Go take darshan of Krishna. It definitely increases the bliss, because this is what soul is aspiring for. And we try to give it something else, give the soul something else. And then that's where the whole mismatch happens. And that's why there's so much of stress and distress and other problems happen. So let's be happy, let's be peaceful, be happy, and distribute this happiness to others. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Mata.
Eye-opening. Each and every word was absolutely right.
Thank you. But we have to preach to others.
Yes, Prabhuji. I've been into office and I have also been into the same culture. Targets, timings, Saturday, Sunday working, no chutti, nothing, no tewar.
I know.
It was like
And
a pressure.
that's when we met you, Kalagan Prabhu and myself.
Thank you very much for adding on this group.
Mataji, same story for all of us.
Seriously.
Even I have also worked on weekends, many weekends.
जी दिसंबर के महीने में पूरा महीना we used to work, no Sundays even, पूरा 30 days, day and night, we were like a dog there. Now I'm
any difference in the the ways of working? I don't know why, but then people say Western countries may it's far more easier. You're more relaxed when you're working. It's just like home, next home.
The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence.
बताएंगे ना कैसा होता है वहाँ पे भी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. But somehow Prabhuji, after your classes and after your guidance, in
हाँ.
fact, I don't know whether I'll be right or wrong. In fact, with all the guidance and the questions that we have asked you, somehow, in fact, now when I work on weekend or if there is an extra work, at least the earlier stress is not there, because every day when you teach us that we need to work in Krishna consciousness, so at least somehow I don't know, I'll be wrong, but at least the stress is not there कि क्या यार target meet करना है रहना है, you know. But that gives it at least that peace कि हाँ ठीक है, in fact the teachings that we get actually we can implement here. So and then because we'll get something extra so that I can engage my family on. So that actually gives peace. And thank you so much, because I remember last year I asked you this question and you set the perspective right for me.
Yeah, from devotee's point, it's different. He thinks it is Krishna has given me this service. So what's the problem? Let me do it nicely. But for karmis, it's completely different.
We are so fortunate, Prabhuji, to hear from you and get your guidance. And of course, Srila Prabhupada, in fact, the way he has guided, before that तो सारा
Yeah.
कुछ मेरे लिए, मेरी promotion के लिए, मेरी position के लिए. But now at least we are slowly and kind of steadily getting into the groove and that understanding कि नहीं भी है तो क्यों नहीं है, और है भी तो मतलब why it's coming. So thank you so much and thanks to Prabhupada.
Yeah, all thanks to Prabhupada actually. Okay, so we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
जय श्री
Hare
राम.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.